There's a particular kind of ache that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive all at once, doesn't wait politely for a convenient moment. It just settles into ordinary days, sneaks into songs on the radio, into a smell, into a season changing, and suddenly you're 18 years old again, standing somewhere you can never really return to. That's the exact feeling Haruki Murakami spends 400 pages capturing in Norwegian Wood, and it's precisely why this novel has quietly wrecked and healed so many readers who picked it up expecting a simple love story and instead found themselves face to face with their own unresolved grief. Because underneath its hazy, nostalgic surface, a song playing on an airplane, the memory of a Tokyo autumn, the slow unraveling of first love, Norwegian Wood isn't really asking you to fall in love with its characters. It's asking you to notice how loss actually moves through a life, unpredictably, unfairly, and permanently. Murakami doesn't offer easy comfort here. What he offers instead is something rarer, an honest map of what it feels like to keep living after someone you love is gone. And somehow, that honesty becomes its own strange form of healing. Today, we're walking through 7 lessons this extraordinary, heartbreaking novel has to teach us about grief, love, and loss. 1. Grief doesn't follow a schedule. The novel opens not with Toru Watanabe's story, but with an ending that happened years before it, the sudden death of his closest friend, Kizuki, at only 17. It should, by every conventional measure, be a wound that fades with time. Instead, Murakami shows us something far more honest. Toru is 37 years old, hearing a song on an airplane, and the grief arrives as freshly and disorientingly as it did the day it happened. Time didn't heal it. Time just taught him to carry it quietly. This is one of the truest things Norwegian Wood ever says about loss. Grief doesn't move in a straight line, and it doesn't respect the timelines we expect it to follow. We tell ourselves we should be over it by now, that enough months or years have passed, that we should be able to hear a certain song or walk past a certain street without feeling the floor tilt beneath us. Murakami refuses that fantasy entirely. He shows us a grief that simply becomes part of a person's architecture, not always visible, but never fully gone, capable of resurfacing decades later with the same startling intensity it had on day one. 2. Death is not the opposite of life, it's woven into it. At the emotional and philosophical center of this novel sits one of the most quietly devastating ideas in modern literature, that death was never life's opposite, standing apart from it like some separate room we eventually get pushed into. Instead, Murakami suggests death lives inside life itself, threaded through every relationship, every memory, every ordinary afternoon, waiting patiently for us to notice it was there all along. Toru arrives at this realization only after losing Kizuki, and later after losing far more, and it changes not just how he grieves, but how he understands being alive at all. It's a genuinely philosophical stance disguised as a coming-of-age novel, and it's precisely why Norwegian Wood lingers with readers long after they've closed the last page. Once you stop treating death as some foreign intrusion into an otherwise untouched life and start understanding it as something already woven into the fabric of loving anyone at all, grief stops being a problem to be solved. It becomes instead something closer to evidence, proof that you loved someone enough for their absence to matter this much. And if a story this emotionally layered is already resonating with you, you don't need to buy the physical book to experience it fully. You can listen to Norwegian Wood as an audiobook through Amazon Audible, at work, during your commute, or in any of those quiet moments in the day when sitting down with a physical book just isn't possible. Right now, you can try the subscription for practically nothing, and I'll leave the link down in the description if you'd like to give it a try. 3. We cannot save the people we love just by loving them harder. Toru's relationship with Naoko is one of the most tender and one of the most painful love stories in modern fiction, precisely because no amount of tenderness turns out to be enough. Naoko is carrying wounds far deeper than Toru can reach, fractures that trace back long before he ever entered her life, and no matter how devotedly he visits her, writes to her, waits for her, he cannot love her back into wholeness. Murakami refuses us the fantasy so many stories rely on, that love, applied with enough patience and sincerity, can single-handedly repair another person's pain. It's a devastating lesson, but also, in its own way, a liberating one. So many of us have exhausted ourselves trying to love someone hard enough to fix what's broken in them, quietly believing that if we just care more, stay longer, try harder, we can rescue them from their own suffering. Norwegian Wood gently, painfully insists otherwise. Love can accompany someone through their pain. It can witness it, hold space for it, even soften it, but it cannot substitute for the deeper healing only that person can find, if they're able to find it at all. Sometimes loving someone means accepting the limits of what your love can actually do. 4. Wounded people recognize each other. At the secluded sanatorium where Naoko goes to heal, Naoko rooms with Reiko, an older woman carrying her own long history of psychological pain. Their friendship becomes one of the novel's quiet miracles, not because either of them fixes the other, but because they see each other clearly, without flinching, in a way the outside world never quite manages to. There's an entire unspoken language between people who have both been broken by something, a fluency neither of them ever wanted to learn, but one that lets them sit inside each other's pain without needing to explain it. Murakami seems to be pointing towards something profound about how healing actually happens, not in isolation and rarely through people who have never suffered anything themselves, but often through the quiet companionship of others who understand exactly what a particular kind of darkness feels like from the inside. There's comfort in that idea, even amid all the sadness. Our wounds, as isolating as they feel, are also what allow us to recognize and be recognized by the people who understand us most deeply.
5. Two kinds of love can live in one heart at once. Throughout the novel, Toru is pulled between two women who represent almost opposite emotional worlds. Naoko is memory, melancholy, the past, tethered permanently to Kazuki and everything Toru lost at 17. Midori is the opposite in nearly every way, vivid, unpredictable, hungry for life, constantly pulling Toru toward the present moment instead of the one he keeps replaying in his mind. Murakami never lets this become a simple choice between right and wrong love. Instead, he lets both feelings coexist, tangled and unresolved inside the same aching heart. There's something quietly reassuring in that refusal to simplify. We like to believe love should be singular, uncomplicated, easy to name. But Norwegian Wood insists that a human heart is often more complicated than that, capable of loving someone tied to grief and someone tied to possibility at the very same time, without either feeling any less real. Toru's confusion isn't a character flaw. It's simply what it looks like to be a person whose heart hasn't yet decided which direction it's facing. 6. Choosing life can feel like a quiet betrayal. As Toru finds himself drawn more and more toward Midori, toward vitality, toward a future that doesn't revolve around loss, he's haunted by a guilt that has no obvious source. Nothing he does toward Naoko is unkind, and yet simply wanting to live fully, to laugh, to fall in love with someone who isn't defined by grief feels to him like a betrayal of everyone he's already lost. Murakami captures something achingly real here about survivor's guilt, the strange shame of continuing to want things after someone you loved has stopped being able to want anything at all. This might be one of the novel's most quietly important lessons. Choosing to keep living, keep growing, keep reaching toward joy is not a betrayal of the people we've lost, even when it feels exactly like one. Grief has a way of convincing us that moving forward means leaving someone behind entirely, that healing is somehow disloyal. Murakami pushes back gently against that lie, suggesting instead that carrying loss and choosing life were never actually opposites, just two things a person has to learn how to hold at the same time. Number 7. To live on is to carry them with you, not to forget them. By the novel's final pages, Toru has lost more than he ever thought he could survive losing, and Murakami doesn't offer him or us a tidy resolution. There's no moment where the grief simply lifts, no clean transition into a life untouched by everything that came before. Instead, the novel ends with Toru reaching out to life, toward Midori, toward whatever comes next, while still profoundly permanently shaped by everyone he's lost along the way. He doesn't forget them to move forward, he simply learns to move forward with them. That distinction might be the most important lesson Norwegian Wood ever offers. We often imagine healing as a kind of forgetting, as though loving someone new, or laughing again, or building a future somehow requires erasing the people who are no longer in it. Murakami suggests something far more honest, that to live on is not to leave our grief behind, but to fold it quietly into who we become next. The people we've lost don't have to disappear for us to keep living. They simply come with us, woven permanently into the life we choose to keep building. Before we close this one, if these 7 lessons found their way into something tender in you, remember that you don't need a physical copy to experience Norwegian Wood for yourself. The full audiobook is available through Amazon Audible, so you can sit with Murakami's aching, beautiful prose during your commute, at work, or in any quiet moment when picking up a physical book just isn't possible. The trial subscription is practically free right now, and you'll find the link waiting for you in the description below. In the end, Norwegian Wood isn't really a novel about a tragic love triangle, or even about the particular losses Toru endures. It's a novel about what it costs and what it means to keep choosing life after loss has already taken so much from you. Murakami doesn't promise that the pain fully disappears. He simply insists that it's possible to carry grief and still reach, however uncertainly, toward everything life still has left to offer. That fragile, stubborn hope might be the most enduring lesson this unforgettable novel leaves behind. Remember to subscribe, comment, like, and see you next time.